creator of the Safety On books. Yehuda?
Good morning. A dictator and one of his citizens were sitting at a bar. The citizen asked the dictator, "What happened to freedom of speech in this country?" The dictator responded, "Freedom of speech has always been guaranteed in this country. It is freedom after speech, which we can't guarantee." If you walked up to anyone in the street and asked them if they love freedom, they would likely say yes. I don't know anyone that would say, "You know what, freedom is appalling and we should ban it." Maybe Beto. If you walked up, the freedoms that we as Americans cherish are under attack by a government that not only refuses to respect the rule of law, but forgets its place in the hierarchy of American politics. We the people live in a republic, and if we aim to keep it, we must take a stand against those who associate the idea of exceptionalism with everything but America. You need to understand that the first shots in America's second Civil War have been fired and were aimed at our First Amendment. I can tell you from personal experience that we are witnessing another form of silencing, akin to Hitler's book burnings. How many people in this room have had social media posts taken down because keyboard warriors deemed the photos or comment offensive? As a Jew, I have some notion on the definition of what it truly means to be free. My ancestors were murdered, over 60 of them. Why? Because of one man's belief that my people needed to be exterminated. 75 years later, I have my own family and my own bloodline to defend. And I encounter people every day that say, "It will never happen again," or "We live in a more civilized society now." The uptick in anti-Semitic attacks in America make me believe otherwise. But here in America, and I'm not talking just about Jews, we have a safeguard in place that we can utilize. Our founding fathers understood that the right to self-defense is a natural right that protects Americans from all enemies, foreign and domestic. This year's theme is freedom now, and let me tell you, I think it's about damn time we live as free men and women again. Thomas Jefferson once said, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." Are we there yet? I hope not, but freedom is never free. Someone always wants to take it, and someone always has to sacrifice for its survival. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We all know those words by Ronald Reagan. The past 2 years, I've spoken on the need to educate our children on firearm safety. We all know that taking away the stigma of a firearm will help prevent accidents. But now I ask you this question: why from a young age do we teach our children how to properly use firearms? Most people answer that question with, "We will not always be there for our children." While this is an accurate answer, I do ask you another question. Where did this notion of firearm trainings come from? It stems from 27 simple words. The Second Amendment is under attack not just from one side of the aisle, but from both. Those who mean to rule us mean to disarm us, and we must preserve our freedom. We are fighting in the now, hoping for a better tomorrow. But what happens if we fail in the now? There's only one answer, and it must be implemented immediately. If we don't begin to instill in our kids the value, the sanctity, the necessity of the Second Amendment, why are we teaching them to shoot? We can take our children to the range as much as we want. We can train them to become proficient in all types of firearms and styles of shooting. I actually encourage you to do that. But here's the thing, if we forget to educate our children on the importance of the Second Amendment, we will find ourselves without a free country in the years to come. The Founding Fathers only needed 27 words to ensure our survival. The future lies in the eyes of our children, and I feel like I have been called to provide the tools that parents need to begin this process through my books. A good friend once told me that your calling is where your talents and your burdens collide. The burdens of my ancestors fuel my desire to create children's books that will inspire a love for freedom in those that will carry it forward. Conservative values and leaders are being thwarted at every turn. Speaking engagements denied, social media shadow banning, murderous shootings at softball games, and cruel beatings at their homes. We are literally at war for the soul of America, and education is our most formidable of weapons. Without the 27 words of the Second Amendment, we become Venezuela. That is the message children must understand now. Children are being taught revisionist history in schools, and unless we counterattack that anti-constitutional view of the Second Amendment, I fear that our country's future is uncertain. Teaching your kids about the importance of the Second Amendment and what it protects is a necessity. Teach them that they have a responsibility from God to defend themselves and their loved ones. And above all else, teach them that they hail from the greatest nation and not to take their right to bear arms for granted or to relinquish it. That is why I truly believe that advancing the gun rights message must begin with our kids. They are our future. As founding father and signer of the Declaration of Independence, Richard Henry Lee famously said, "Whereas to preserve liberty, it is essential that the whole body of the people always possess arms and be taught alike, especially when young, how to use them. Those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. Our independence and sovereignty must come first and above all else. We must put our money where our mouth is for freedom. We must put our vote where our heart is for freedom. And above all, we must put our knowledge where our children are for freedom. If we do this consistently, freedom now will be freedom forever." Thank you.